Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello there, welcome to your weekly program on television, Money Radio. And of course, in this segment of the show, we'll always review our staple national economy. National Economy is a weekly business newspaper. And of course, my name is Winifred Ugbebo, your anchor on this show. Without wasting much time, let's see what national economy is saying. National economy's headline story says 28 million housing deficit, 75% surge in building materials cost, compounds housing shortage as developers, homeowners struggle with abandoned projects. AFDP reviews Nigeria orders economic forecast for 2024. AFDB reviews Nigeria orders economic forecast for 2024. African Development Bank, that is AFDB, reviews Nigeria orders economic forecast for 2024, and the story continues on page 5 of the paper. The ones above the masthead says 80% rise in food importation alarming federal government. 80% rise in food importation alarming federal government. Excessive debt repayment can hurt Nigeria's economy, experts say. The story continues on page 5 of the paper. And of course, take a walk with me as we go to the inside pages to see what the inside pages of national economy is saying. First, we'll report at the editorial, and that is page 3 of the paper. The editorial says advancing sustainable transport in Nigeria. Advancing sustainable transport in Nigeria. That's the editorial stance of the paper this week. From page 3, we take a walk down inside as we stop at human resource page, which is on page 7. It says enhancing governance practices in organization. Enhancing governance practices in organization. You want to find out what governance practices are in any organization. And from there, we move over to the page 15 of the paper, targeting inflation with orthodox monetary policy. Targeting inflation with orthodox monetary policy. Monetary policy actions and frameworks play a vital role in anchoring inflation expectations during these challenging times. That's the quote and unquote in Money Guide. Targeting inflation with orthodox monetary policy. From page 15, we move over to the energy page 19. And the energy this week is on the evolving natural gas pipeline infrastructure network in Nigeria, West Africa. The evolving natural gas pipeline infrastructure network in Nigeria, West Africa. That is the features on the energy page of national economy. From that page 19, we move over to the back page of the paper where we have the analyst. The analyst, this is a guest column by Timi Olubiyi, PhD, and he's writing on bridging funding gaps in micro, small, and large businesses. Bridging funding gaps in micro, small, and large businesses. Of course, you want to find out what are the gaps that needs to be bridged as you log on to the website of national economy. For continuation of the headline stories, inside stories, and of course the back page, you log on to the website of national economy, www.nationaleconomy.com. Obviously, we've come to the end of this first segment of the show. Don't worry, we will still have the second segment of the show coming up. I'm Winifred Ugbebo. See you. Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money. on this segment of the show, we are discussing on the tackling unemployment rates and underemployment in Nigeria. Tackling unemployment, underemployment in Nigeria. Nigeria's unemployment rate is hitting 37% in 2023, in with poverty headcount rising to 45%. As you are aware, thousands of graduates, hundreds of thousands of graduates have been churned out in our colleges of education, polytechnics, and universities. And after graduation, after 1 year mandatory National Youth Service Corps, there is no job to go to. There's no means of engagement for these teeming graduates. What is the issue? So unemployment and underemployment has continued to defy solution in this present day Nigeria. My name is Winifred Weber, your guest on the show, and of course I have with me in the studio an in-house analyst. He's also the the editor of National Economy, Kingsley Ali is his name. Kingsley, it's a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
You're welcome. So, as I said earlier, how do we reduce these numbers of unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria?
Well, it's getting alarming by the day,
Yes.
despite the efforts of government. Let's not take away the fact that every day companies are employing people. That one is basic.
Okay.
Private companies, of course, they're engaging people. Even government agencies, sometimes they also engage through the back door. Those ones, they don't advertise them. But that notwithstanding, the point is that most people that are graduates from our tertiary institutions, they don't have the prerequisite skills that the industry needs.
Yes.
So more often than not, you get this situation where you have the skills mismatch. People actually go to university or go to colleges of higher institutions, spend 4 years learning things that actually are not relevant to the current job demand in the market.
Yes.
So this is what gives rise to what we are witnessing today, the unemployment rate that has gone to up to 37%, and even the poverty headcount, because when you don't have job, of course, automatically we have signed up, to join the poverty bracket, because you don't have job. Who do you want to depend on? People are looking for something to do. So invariably, that is why you notice that the poverty headcount keeps increasing. And so and there was even, I saw something, a clip, or is it on Facebook or so, where a graduate said after graduating for about 8 or 9 years, no job. So he tore his certificate. Because I was like, come on. Is it that somebody did not tell him, bros, go and acquire skill? What you learned in the university cannot apply in the current job market of today. Industries, establishments are looking for people who are skilled in certain areas.
Yes, if I may cut in, what you just said, that most of our graduates do not have the requisite skills for some of these job placement. Of course, it's something that the DG of NACETEM, that is the National Center for Technology Management, Dr. Olushola Otosoya, he actually raised the alarm over it, saying that most vocational universities or tertiary institutions have turned into universities. He made mention of NDA, Nigerian Defense Academy, and Yaba College of Technology, they have turned into universities, which is not supposed to be. And that most jobs, they are supposed to have 70% for vocation, but we are not having that presently in the country.
Because the curricula that established them did not include that. But I think going forward, all those now have to change, because ITF Industrial Training for over the years has been making case for this. You see that you have to look at your curriculum, the schools, and see how you can rejig it. It has to move from the normal thing you used to do before. Maybe those things were applicable in the 80s.
However, the intervention agency saddled with that in concerning universities is the National Universities Commission, NUC. When you see, if despite strident calls for change, rejig of the university's curricula, it seems not to be doing anything about it.
Because it may not be that they are not doing anything about it, but it may also has to do with the individuals that are graduating from the school. For instance, if you go to industrial training fund now, they have this model skills, training center where, let's assume you left school after 1 year, you couldn't get job. You just walk into ITF. ITF, get some extra skills.
Presently?
Yeah, presently.
But how many people do you know that? I'm just hearing it for the first time.
No, it's always been there. They have been shouting all over the whole place. People should come, acquire some serious skills, whether it's in mechatronics, name them, catering, baking, name them. It is both for graduates and for non-graduates. And as if to take it further, they also went into a partnership with this Nigeria Employment Consultative Association, NECA. So under this, their training development skills project is also about getting these people in, equipping them with skills, and then releasing them to the industries. Nigerian Employers Consultative Association actually is an umbrella body of employers in the country, firms, companies in the country. So ITF was able to come into partnership with them. So now we train these people, you absorb them according to the demand in the market. Do you understand me?
Yes.
But the problem here is that most people are actually not assessing this. Either when they see it, they think it's one rocket thing to do. They don't go that extra mile to make inquiries. It's not just ITF. What of SMIDA? SMIDA has National Business Skills Development Initiative.
Okay.
For SMIDA, that one is actually vocational based. But the idea is that the more people join, the more they hone their skills. Some of them have to, kind of relearn.
However, Kingsley, we know that presently most industries are closing up because of the unfavorable ease of doing businesses in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So when you talk about learning skills, so what happens when the industries are turning out? They are no longer there.
The truth is that there's no hard and fast rule that once you acquire a skill, you go and work in. You can acquire a skill and be self-employed.
Self-employed. Okay.
That's even the whole idea. That all these Asian tigers, that is how they function. You acquire a skill, you become self-employed. You also employ people. Do you understand? That's actually the main idea behind all these things. So that way you don't. If, for instance, they give you startup kits, like ITF will give you startup kits, SMIDA will give you startup kits. So what else do you need? Now we know that they have always had issues with the problem of funding and all those things. But when you look at the way government has actually done this, it's such that they shouldn't have a problem with funding, because they need, after your training, you need that entrepreneurial kind of support,
skills,
and that support will come by way of mentoring, training, retraining, and of course that funding aspect of it. Just last week, SMIDA entered into partnership with Sterling Bank for 5 billion naira loan for SMEs. But how many of them will step up, come forward, and apply for these loans?
They are not forthcoming.
They are not forthcoming. So a lot has to do with maybe there has to be a lot of sensitization in this area. People should stop crying about no job.
However, before we get there, I want to take you back again. We've had a situation whereby successive governments of Nigeria have always pledged to create jobs. At least the last past administration, they promised to create 100,000 jobs for the unemployed. So what happened to that?
Well,
was it realized before the government?
Talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Those comments were misleading, because imagine when remember the time immigration advertised a job opening, and you saw what happened at the time.
Yes.
Over 700 and something thousand.
That was during the Good Luck Village.
That should be even. Is it Good Luck Village, Jonathan or Buhari, or which of these?
Good Luck's
Jonathan.
At the National Stadium.
Yes, you saw the mammoth crowd that came for interview for just maybe 3 or 4 openings. So that tells you that that's actually not the way to go in the first place. The way to go is go and get skills. This as soon as you leave,
However, you are talking about skills. How many graduates are willing to take this leap? Because, of course, it has been overemphasized over time, get skill and all whatnot. Even at schools, way of schooling now, also the curricula is also factored into it for you to learn skills. Talking about basic education.
yes,
But however, how many are actually taking advantage of this skills acquisition?
they have to, because they don't have choice at this point. You know, the way the economy is going now, you don't need anybody to tell you that if you are depending on government to spoon feed you at this point in time, you are in for really big trouble. They have to go and acquire skills. It's not just even, apart from the regular agencies we've just mentioned, ITF, Smedan, and other,
even this NASETEM,
and even there's also private organizations even private organizations also organize some skills training workshops. Do you understand me? So apart from that, look at the social media space now.
Yes,
just look at it, just open it.
People are making money from
People
social
are making
media.
money. Yeah, social media. There's trainings, skills. Come, you see them are even on Facebook advertising. Come and learn this, come and learn that, come and learn this. Let's teach you how to do this. Even if it's video editing, let's teach you how to do. Just acquire a skill to remain competitive. Do you understand me? So the whole problem started with, this mindset that when you enter the university or a higher institution, when you graduate, you apply for a job. It's something we have to start changing. That mindset.
That's why you see somebody saying waiting for 8 years to secure placement in federal civil service.
Honestly, I was like, come on, 8 years, and you are not. You open your phone, go to Facebook. All you do is to chat. You are not seeing opportunities.
But what would you say about universities that is in Nigeria that are training out these graduates without actually maybe giving them skills on how to manage life after the university?
Yeah, this is where actually, like National University Commission you mentioned earlier, this is where they have to come in. They have to reject the school curriculum. It is very, very important. Things are changing. Times have changed. Okay? What could have easily passed 20 years ago or even 15 years ago? Today, come on. There are a lot of things that could be done, but apart from waiting on government, that's even my own point here.
Waiting on government
To
but many people believe that is a national cake that everybody must share in.
What type of national cake? Let's even face it in the ideally, let's face it. Well, even civil servants, how much are they collecting? Except those that are stealing. All those directors that have access to phone and all those kind of that, they are pilfering government money, because every day we keep hearing those kind of things. Apart from that, how much is the average salary of a civil servant in the first place? So you need to find a way to augment what you take home every month. That's the simple truth.
Well, Kingsley, I have to cut in this time and go on a break. When we come back, there's so much to talk about on the program Morning Radio. We've been talking on unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. Don't go away. Stay tuned.
Be part of our brand. Leadership for God and country.
Welcome back. In case you're just joining us, the program is Morning Radio, and of course we'll be talking on underemployment and unemployment in Nigeria. Of course, like I mentioned earlier, the numbers keep increasing by the day. This year alone, Nigerians' unemployment rate rose to 37%, with headcount poverty rising to 45%. Now, Kingsley, there's been a research that there's a correlation between unemployment and crime rate in Nigeria. Any wonder crime rate is on the increase in Nigeria? So what is your thought on this?
Because we have made it appear so attractive. Do you understand?
Of course, the saying that an idle mind is the devil's workshop. So what?
Yeah, and of course, you don't need to be even wonder when somebody doesn't have something doing. His mind, there's no vacuum.
Okay.
There's no vacuum. You understand me? in life, there's no vacuum.
Yes.
Something
Nature abhors a vacuum.
nature abhors vacuum in the first place. So something must occupy that mind. But then you go to social media, look at some of the skits, even they show us. What are they really teaching us? Are you telling us that we have to do this or do that? It is the smartest way to earn a living. So the truth is that for the man that is unemployed, he doesn't have, he has nobody but himself to blame. That's number one, because there are opportunities for you now to go and do something and earn a decent living. And of course, you just mentioned even underemployment.
Yes.
Underemployment simply means you are not paid enough. What is your take home at the end of the month cannot really go far.
No, talking about underemployment, sorry to also cut in. Could it be responsible for why so civil servants prefer government fund because they are not being paid?
It is in their blood to purify what does not belong to them. Do you understand me? We know civil servants. You see them drive flashy cars, drive jeep. Go and find out how much is their salary per se. Their salary per se. There's no how they can be able to afford such luxury in the first place.
Okay.
It is in their blood. You know, only very few can turn away, see such things and say, no, I don't want to stem my name and all the rest. But what we're saying at this point is that the way the economy is going and looking at the policy direction of government for now, I think it's now time for people to wake up in their mind. Start thinking of what they can do to augment, come up with a plan B. There has to be a plan B.
Now, does this present administration have the goal of creating jobs for the teeming unemployed youth? I had to ask.
Well, until they make an official
because each
pronouncement
government has always come up with plans, goals that they are going to create a so number of jobs for the unemployed. But what about this renewed hope agenda of President Bola?
The renewed hope, where when Buhari passed administration, they say they are going to 200 million people out of poverty. At the end of the day, more people, more than 100 million, enter the poverty bracket. Talk is cheap. So I don't want us to kind of believe politicians when they talk. Do you understand?
Now, with what you just pointed out, you've actually painted a grim picture of Nigeria's security, because there's a nexus between insecurity and unemployment. Now, if unemployment is rising by the day, are you in doubt why crime rate is also increased? What it means now, from what you just pointed out, is that there will be no end to insecurity in the country, given the rate of unemployment that keeps rising by the day.
It keeps rising by the day. Yes. By somehow that's what I'm inferring, because that's the only next alternative. But that is not positive in the real sense of the word, because you become a willing tool in the hand of these desperate, evil men who just want to maim, kill, and destroy. And at the end of the day, you have yourself to blame. What we're even saying now, if you look at, there are a lot of opportunities now in the space. Anybody that really wants to be serious can really leverage on those opportunities.
Yes, an opportunity, but you cannot actually bring your dreams or your thoughts processes into actuality when the finances is not there. And we know, Kingsley, that our banks, the interest rate now presently is high, and before you can obtain a loan in any of our Nigerian banks, it takes a lot.
Yeah, but that is why you have agencies of government like Bank of Industry, like SMIDA.
So how accessible is Bank of Industry?
How
very accessible is SMIDA?
Very, very accessible. Very, very accessible.
Oh, Kingsley, you mean one can actually walk into SMIDA office and say, I want to acquire skill acquisition, and
they will welcome you. You'll be so welcomed. Given first class treatment.
Paying a dime.
No, you'll be welcome. That's why they are there. Do you understand? It's an open. They always leave open door for you. You are welcomed. They will listen to you. They will guide you. They will mentor you. They will even help you access funding for your business. That is why they are there. Bank of Industry has been doing it. Sweden has been doing it. So it is just for these people to summon that courage, walk into these places, make inquiries. But I can bet you, most of the times, 90.7% of the times, you will come out smiling. So they need to simply go working. That's why they are there in the first place. All those arrangements they have put in place to help SMEs. Why are people not keying in? Why are they not jumping in? Why are they not like, let me even take that first step in the first place? Let's forget about reading, criticizing government all the time. What before you also criticize them, also look at what they have put in place. Have you also been able to leverage on those things?
So for underemployment, what solutions would you proffer for that?
For that underemployment, I think that it behoves on the government to actually look critically at some of those things. You can't employ somebody and the person is underpaid. You know. Meanwhile, you look at inflation now. Inflation figure. I think as at today,
presently NSC and government, they are in talks over wage of civil servants. But what about the private sector?
That is what we're saying. You are
what
talking
about
of
the private sector?
You are talking of civil servants.
Yes.
Yeah. What about the private sector? There has to be some form of regulation now. You understand? There has to government has to, for at least one of a minister, maybe whatever labor minister, or maybe what, or information, whatever. Somebody has to really wield the big stick on these private organizations. Do you understand me? Because whenever we all go to the same filling station,
yes, and we'll
go to the same market. That's the gospel truth. So at the end of the day, you can't rob Peter to pay Paul. That's the gospel truth. So government has to, apart from every other thing we're looking, look at the take-home pays of workers generally in the country.
Can their take-home pay take them home now?
Yeah, that's the question. With the rising cost of transportation, prices of things are going up in the market,
bills to pay,
and every day mounting debts left, right, and center. There is the need for government actually to look at how even private organizations can begin to review the take-home pay of their workers. Yeah.
Now, generally, because we've been shedding light on unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. Just before we go, and of course, I've had an in-house guest, in-house analyst, Kingsley Alu, in the program. Now, Kingsley, what is the way forward? How do we solve this perennial unemployment in Nigeria?
To solve it, let them, I think, first of all, sensitization is very, very important. It's very, very, because I don't think we should be talking about funding at this point. Somebody that is on the sideline cannot be forced to go and pick money. You have to, first of all, enter, find out what's going on, make your inquiries, join the bandwagon before you can start taking off. Okay, now I've done this and it's meant to assess for. So sensitization is key at this point. Government, I don't even know, National Orientation Agency. I'm trying to find exactly what is their key function.
I think they always, or like every other federal government institutions, they complain about paucity of funds.
It's not about, then let people at least create some level of awareness at this point in time.
Of course, they are badly needed now, sorely needed.
Yes,
in this
create some level of people should, I don't even, do you know sometimes people spend hours on this Facebook, but scroll now, you will see training, skill this, skill that. People are like, and very cheap. Some you pay 5,000 to learn how to do this. Learn those things are things people will do, and you get work on maybe Upwork or Fiverr and all the rest of them, and you're paid in dollars and you make your money. The truth is that there has to be some level of sensitization at this point. You know, that campaign has to be like a nationwide thing. Let people begin to see things differently. Government cannot provide every job for you.
Yes, it cannot.
But then the situation demands that also you help yourself.
And of course, also the federal government has to provide an easy, how do you call
enabling
it?
environment.
Enabling environment.
Yes, by way of providing the electricity and all those kind of. But even in the country at the moment, you and I know that individuals also provide their own power.
That's very, very interesting.
Yes.
Well, it's been a very, very educative and informative 30 minutes program with an in-house analyst, Kingsley Alu, the editor of National Economy. My name is Winifred Pepper, and of course, we've been talking on unemployment and underemployment in Nigeria. The right figures are rising, and of course, we've been talking about providing solutions on how to tackle the menace. Until we come your way again, same time next week. Here's wishing you a beautiful week ahead.
Yes.
See you.
Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.